Hey, what's up everybody? Shawn here with Empire Auto Spa, and before me we have a 1971 GMC truck, but not just any 1971 GMC truck. The one behind me is a complete frame-off restoration. Now, here's kind of the crazy thing about the truck behind me. I'm going to tell you this first, and then I want you to keep this in mind as we go through the entire build on this thing. This truck was built for Autocross. Stick around. If ever you're going to autocross, there are a couple of things to pay attention to. First off, you want to make sure you stop well, and then you want to make sure you handle well. Well, we're going to start with the stopping, and as you can see, this 1971 has been updated with a 6-piston front, 4-piston rear, full Willwood brake system. So if you didn't catch it at the beginning of the video, the shocker here is that this was created for Autocross. Now, as you look at the way that this truck sits, it actually starts to make some sense. We've got rack and pinion steering. We've got the whole truck on coils. It really is well done. Full TCI suspension. You can see the front end is really ready to have the brakes jammed on and stay nice and stable. The rear end, with it up in the air a little bit more, when it's time to lay down the power, it's gonna level out and accelerate really, really nicely. So not only is this vehicle meant to just look awesome, and the color theme that goes into the dash absolutely accomplishes that, and nothing in this automobile is actually original. Now, some of it is designed to look period correct, but we've got the Tremec 5-speed. We've got these seats that, believe it or not, actually came from a Chevy Silverado that have been completely customized. Now, when looking at these seats in the video, you might not actually realize it, but for a bigger guy like me, these actually hug pretty well. And with that center console, it locks you in nicely. The entire interior on this is unbelievably available to you as the driver. And when I started this car for the first time, by far the coolest feature to me, or maybe one of the coolest features, is that digital dash, and I'm going to show you why right now. What do we have under the hood? Well, we have a custom 383 stroker motor. It's pretty awesome, actually. The owner told me it's putting out right around 475 horsepower to the wheels. The big motor in the front, I mean, that's part of the reason that the heavy-duty suspension up here is set up the way that it is. You jump on the brakes in this thing to go into a turn, and obviously it's going to want to dive forward. The whole suspension has been done to make sure that that's not an issue. Now, one of the things that I love about this, we get to see custom motors all the time. What you don't get to see all the time is the small little detail work like that. Check out the spacer that leads to the air filter. It is wooden looking. I mean, clearly it's not wood, but that's cool. The more time you spend looking around in this engine bay, the more time you get to realize that there was a lot of love put into this truck. This thing is no sleeper. Again, with that big 383 stroker under the hood, when it's running down the road, you're not wondering whether or not it's built with a purpose. However, no one is thinking that this thing was built for Autocross. Imagine you pull up to a track day and you see Miata S2000 1971 GMC, but when you hear it, not going to be a surprise to anybody when you're driving down the road and see a half white, half lime green custom 71 pickup truck pull next to you. When you hear it and the noise that it makes, or just look at the stance of it, it's not a sleeper. You're immediately gonna know that there's something serious going on behind me. What you're not gonna know is that it's meant to take turns, dive into the corners, and stop on a dime. So, even though it's not a sleeper in the normal sense of the word, what I have behind me is probably one of the sneakiest sleepers in the United States. Track Day, Autocross, GMC Classic Custom Pickup. I never thought all of those words would ever go in the same sentence. Now, there is a lot more coming in our review list. This one behind me is just beginning. If you enjoy this review, make sure and subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you can get all of our future reviews. A lot more coming from us here at the Empire, so stick around.